Welcome to Whisky.com. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. Today I present the Lagavulin Distillers Edition 43 ABV, and this one is one of my favorites, so be careful. I like it. The Lagavulin Distillery lies on the south coast of Islay, which is on the west coast of Scotland, an island belonging to the Inner Hebrides. On the very south of the island of Islay, the whiskies are very famous for their peaty aroma, their strong peaty aroma. And the Lagavulin 16-year-old is one of the, most often sold single malt whiskies in the world. Top 10, I think. And the 16-year-old is the whiskey which the distillery sells most. This one is a particular bottle which is matured twice. The first time in ex-bourbon cask and the second time in Pedro Ximenez sherry casks from the south of Spain. And the Pedro Ximenez sherry is a very sweet and fruity sherry. So the strong and peaty aroma of the Lagavulin single malt whiskey is mixed with the sweet and fruity character of the Spanish sherry and the oakiness of the cask. This whiskey is particularly old. It's 16 years old, and it was distilled in 1997 and bottled in 2013. So whenever you see this video in 2014, this bottle will be available on the shelves, but in 2015 and later on there will be successors to these bottles. The former bottles have been black, so the label was black, the card box was black, everything was black. It was a existential design. This one is weird. It's green, it's blue, boo. I do not like it. The old design was much better. But you have an extra ceiling on top. You have a print on the bottle in gold. You have these engravings here. Two labels, front and back label. They want it especially this way. So it's not my favorite design, but one of my favorite whiskies. The double maturation period brings more aromas into a whiskey. The first maturation period is typically a long time, 14 years for this single malt in ex-bourbon casks. And after this period they fill the whiskey in fresh sherry casks. And from these fresh sherry casks they tear out the fruitiness of the sherry from the staves of the cask, and they tear the oakiness out of the cask, because the second maturation casks are typically more intense than the American oak casks from the first maturation period. The duration of the second maturation vary between 6 months for a very fresh cask and 2 years for a 1 or 2 or 3 times used casks. So you can't tell how long it was matured the second time because they mix up 6-month maturation and 12 months maturation and perhaps 24-month maturation, second maturation. A smokiness, distinct smokiness, but not as strong as the typically 16-year-old Lagavulin has. It's a little bit weaker. Yeah? And it intermixes with the sherry notes. So it's not that strong, not that sharp, not that not so many tears in your eyes. The smell also includes dark fruits like resins or plums, or together with a medicinal note like iodine. Yeah, this hospital character. So if you are afraid of hospitals, you do not like the taste there, don't use this one. The fruitiness of the sherry is there, a little sweetness. And there is a very complex mix. They reside for a long time in the casks, and all the aromas are intermixed. Very complex. Very intense, warm, spiciness, chocolate, dark chocolate, red oranges, slight bitterness, very warming down your breast. Mouth-watering. With the second smell, after the first swallowing, a little bit of vanilla, roasted malt, still the seaweed, iodine, and a little fruitiness. Less fruitiness than in the beginning. The strong taste carried over. Smokiness. Very full, very strong. I can't resist. Still one of my very favorite. And sometimes people say, well, the old vintages were much better than this one, and so on. Yes, there are differences between the vintages, but they are not that strong. The differences between different distilleries and the 16-year-old and this one are much stronger than the differences between different vintages of this. So it's always interesting to taste a new vintage. I had already 2 or 3 other vintages of this, and yeah, I also like this one. Not the outside, not the green, but the inside. This is what counts. Thank you for watching Whisky.com, and stay tuned.